Hi, I'm Dave, and you might probably know me from RPG a Day. I noticed that my YouTube channel hardly had anything on it. I haven't put any new videos up for a long time, and I thought, let's rectify that, let's do something. I don't know what. First thing that came to mind was one of my personal things is that whenever I'm looking to buy a new RPG, not that it happens very often because, you know, funds are short these days, whenever I am looking to buy an RPG, I always like to see what they look like inside. And sometimes the little preview thing on a PDF that you get on drive-through isn't quite enough to really sell it to me. So I thought, well, everybody does these unboxing videos. So today's the first of a few unboxing videos. I hope they're useful for people who are considering buying the product to begin with, and just give you some sort of insight of what's inside them. So for the first one, I thought I'd I'd unbox Doctors and Daleks. So I've got a couple of disclaimers to come up first of all. I am a producer currently at Cubicle 7, and so I worked on this because I look after the Doctor Who lines. So I have worked on this. This is something that I am very, very familiar with, but I haven't seen the physical version of it. So this is going to be a new one for me. Secondly, this is my video. I'm doing it for my channel. I haven't been asked by Cubicle 7 to do this, and any opinion that I'm about to give is purely mine and is nothing to do with Cubicle 7 and does not represent their opinions or the opinions of the BBC. So this is purely what I think of it. So there you go. Alright, so first of all, Doctors and Daleks. It comes to you like this in a big box, and it's flipping heavy. Let's just put it that way. When it first arrived, I noticed there was a little bit of a ding on the corner. I thought, oh God, that's not good. But the genius of this is that the box is designed to give it the best protection possible. There we go. Look at that. See, all of this is just cardboard impact zones to make sure that your, let's face it, rather expensive and lovely collector's edition of Doctors and Daleks arrives safe and sound. So there you go. As you'll notice, the slight ding that I had was in that corner and was miles away from the actual slipcase itself, which is great. Hurrah! Woo! So there you go. Doctors and Daleks slipcase, 3 books and a GM screen. Oh, lovely. Retails for $149.99. I don't know why I said it like that, but you know, it's funny. But yeah, I haven't opened this before, so this is all new and exciting. This took ages to make. Oh, let's put it that way. Years and years. It felt like years. So let's get in there without trying to scuff it in any way. Oh my God, that's so heavy. So as you may know, Doctors and Daleks is the 5e compatible version of the Doctor Who role-playing game. The mainline Doctor Who RPG, you can probably see just over my head in the corner there, uses its own system, the Vortex system, which I designed, but a lot of people really like 5e, so hey, why not? So it comes with a couple of little sheets just to go around it so that you can see that you've got a shiny police box. Oh yes, lovely. Okay, so let's have a look at what's inside here. Oh my god, it's so heavy! Oh. I think you could definitely do somebody a nasty injury with that if you're not careful. Okay, so slipcase, really hard stuff. It's pretty solid and really gonna protect your books once they're in there. And inside you have 3 books, as we said before. So there is the Doctors and Daleks Player's Guide, which is the main rule book for playing Doctors and Daleks. You have Keys of Skaro, which is an adaptation of the 2nd edition's Secrets of Skaro adventure, but converted to 5e. And then we've also got the Alien Archive, which is a bit like a monster manual. Oh, you've got to love those spot glosses. Oh yes, shiny, shiny. And exclusive to the collector's edition is the GM screen, which has all the useful tables and exciting things on the inside. So for when you need things on the fly, like Technobabble, what tech level people are, and the tables for navigating the vortex, and also the very important bit about encounters, because encounters and encounter levels is quite an important thing in Doctors and Daleks. It allows you to fight things without fighting them, if you know what I mean. And on the outside you've got the Doctors. It's very nice, look at that. There's Will Brooks again for you, showing off that he knows what he's doing when it comes to Doctor Who graphic design. Right, so putting the screen aside, first up let's have a look at the Player's Guide. Oh god, that's so heavy, so heavy. Right, so this is the main rulebook for Doctors and Daleks. To use this you will need a copy of the Player's Handbook for D&D, or the system resource document for 5e. Either works. So this is what I really wanted to do, was to actually just sort of flick through the book, so that while I go through it page by page, you can see what it is inside and see what stands out and whether it really floats your boat, so to speak. So there we go. Contents page, usual things, copyrights and all that shenanigans, and then some very nice introductory images. Ooh, that's nice. Ooh, explodies. Oh, it's quite a new one, isn't it? Look, 14th doc. So where do we start? We start with an introduction, and what role-playing games are, what you need, what dice you need, and where to get the SRD just in case you haven't got Player's Handbook for D&D, and then kind of breaks down what's the difference between the normal role-playing game and what's in Doctors and Daleks. And then we go on to just sort of an introduction to combat, characters, what you actually do in the game. So, creating a character. There's a load of companions there. Oh yes, it's lovely. So character creation, so you get character creation section first, which asks you who you are, how to put your Team TARDIS together, and how they're going to be moving about, whether they're going to be based as a unit team, time agents, what sort of time travel devices they're going to be using, and introduction to technology levels ranging from primitive Stone Age up to beyond comprehension. So in general you pick a class, just like in D&D. These classes are Charmer, Empath, Protector, Stalwart, Thinker and Trickster. And then you have a background, you have motivations, you work out how your characters are connected to each other. There's a little table there just in case you couldn't think of what you wanted to do. And then the finishing touches. So that's quite simple. Each of those little stages is covered in their own chapter. and that's what a character sheet looks like. Fairly familiar if you're used to D&D character sheets. Nothing too drastic there. So the first choice is what species you are. Hath. Maybe not Hath. That might be tricky as a player character, but you never know. So you have humans to start with. Yeah, well, they're kind of obvious, aren't they? And then you have Silurians, Silurians, when more Silurians. And I think, you never know, rumour has it there might be a bit more Silurian action happening soon, but I don't know. I only know what I see on the internet. Centaurans, because let's face it, everybody wants to play a Centauran. And Time Lords, just in case you wanted to create your own. And then you have little tweaks to them, so you can make them cyborgs, shapeshifters, give them psychic powers, make them hypnotists. That's why the master's in there. Good beard. Give them telekinesis. And then we go on to character classes. And each character class starts with a plot die, which is basically a hit die. What your primary attribute is, your favoured saving throws, any proficiencies, and quips and stuff like that. We'll come to quips in a minute. So there's Charmer, and then there are, of course, their proficiencies and their extra abilities. And then each character class has got their own little subclass, like the Agitator, because let's face it, Donna can really get under people's skin. The Herald, which is good old Ian, and the Muddler, because Jo Grant, bless her, did muddle from place to place, but she was really good at it, and it threw off the bad guys. And then we've got Empaths, which include the Elder, poor old Graham, love Graham, he was great, Martha, the physician, and Survivalist, good old Dan. And then you get onto the more physical types, the Protectors. So you get the Officer, like the Brigadier, the Sentinel, Madame Vastra, and the Stalwarts. So they're the support and things that they can do. So you end up with Defenders, Student, and Explorer, and then the Thinkers. So let's have a look, see what they have. They've got the Boffin, which is Liz, the good old Zoe for the computer, and Detective for Kate Stewart, and then Tricksters, just in case you want rogue sort of characters. So you end up with River Song, Con Artist, the Criminal, Christine de Souza. I know she only appeared in one episode, but it was quite cool having a cat burglar character. And Nardole as well makes it in there because he's always good. But then quips are an important step as well. A bit like spells or cantrips. Everybody has access to some of these, and you make your attack rather than hit it with a sword like you normally do in D&D. You try and befuddle them with arguments, try to outwit them, charm them, debate, offer them a jelly baby, do a little magic trick, put them with an argument, plea for mercy, and things like that. They're all little things. There's normal quips and there's cantrip quips as well, and there's loads and loads of abilities. So when you're leaping into a confrontation with a bad guy or even a complete army of Daleks, it's not going to be a case of getting the guns out and shooting at them, because that's not what the Doctor does. It's about outwitting them, using science, using things around them, the objects that are in the location, taunting them, helping each other, and yeah, it's all about non-violent conflict, which is a great idea and something I'd like to see people try and use from Doctors and Daleks and bring over into their D&D games, maybe. You never know. That might be quite interesting. So, Chapter 5, Backgrounds. So, everybody's got a background, what they were doing before they joined the TARDIS. So, academics, athletes, hackers, investigators, pilots, scientists, or just youths. And that's not spelt with an F or two Fs. Youth, like that. So there we go. Here's all the extra background features that they gain. And then you have motivations, much like in D&D again. So each class has got some personality trait, a bond, an ideal and a flaw as well, which you can roll randomly or you can choose. Hey, look at all these. Seeker, tourist. Equipment. Look, it's the Taskmaster in a big suit. Well, he's not really, because it was a robot suit with his head on it, wasn't it? So, you know, it just looks like the Taskmaster in a big suit. So you've got the usual things that you'd expect from something like D&D. Armour and shields, weapons like guns, laser carbines, machine guns, but also, because, you know, the Doctor doesn't shoot things, there's things like slingshots or pepper spray, fire extinguishers, or even water pistols, because, you know, water pistols, perfectly good weapon. And then there's a little section on gadgets, because Doctor Who is all about cool gadgets, like squareness guns, bio dampers, data pads, grav boots, or even having a long scarf. Sonic screwdriver and psychic paper, because let's face it, you're always going to need those in a Doctor Who game. Nitro 9, which will keep Ace happy. And then little things like artist tools, first aid kit, vortex manipulator, because that's a great way to get around if you haven't got a TARDIS. And then we're on to actually playing the game. So we revise tech levels again and how they can affect you. How some of the skills have changed, because let's face it, you don't really need things like Arcana and Religion in Doctor Who. So we've added things like Science and Engineering. The history skills changed, and this explains how these things have changed and what you need to do to adjust your normal D&D game. And then we look at other things that you wouldn't normally come across when you're playing your Ninth Level Paladin. Things like radiation, exposure to corrosive atmospheres or vacuum, decompression, gravity changes, and then the wonders of resting, aid, and then on to conflict. So this is where you look at how hit points become plot points, so you're actually doing damage using inverted commas, but you're really just sort of convincing the bad guys that their evil ways are not good, and that you can do emotional and logical damage to try and dissuade them from doing things. And what happens when people run out of plot points: incapacitation, getting captured, retreating, fleeing. And the initiative system is different from D&D as well. It's taking a page out of the book of the normal Doctor Who role-playing game, and uses the talkers go first, the doers, and then the attackers, which is a bit like the talking, running, doing, fighting that is in 2nd edition and 1st edition actually. So on to chases, because there's plenty of chases, goals and experience, and then there's a big old section on time travel. So a bit about TARDISes, systems that are in the TARDIS, various rooms, because you could have entire campaigns getting lost inside the TARDIS. Other time machines, such as time corridors, vortex manipulators, and how to create them, like time ships and time portals and rifts and time storms, customizing your TARDIS, and how sentient it is, how it communicates if it does, and lots of bits about how they operate, beneficial properties of fantastic time machines and detrimental properties of fantastic time machines. And then of course stats for a Type 40 TARDIS and some other ones as well. And then there's a bit about how to actually time travel, taking damage to your time machine, checks you need to make, which is all on the inside of the GM screen as well, so it's handy reference. How to navigate the vortex, sticking that landing, because yeah, most of the time it is a bit of a bumpy landing. Time loops, time rams, temporal orbits, spatial overlap, paradoxes, the Blinovitch limitation effect, because you've got to get that in there somewhere, and who controls who, Time Wars, and then on to a brief history of time and space. So this is a look at the Doctor's universe. So the origins of the universe, end space, e-space, dawn of the Earth, age of the lizards with the Silurians, rise of civilization, then up to a more modern era with Unit, Torchwood, and some other people that they encountered, and then on to the Earth's future, what happened to the Moon, the Draconians and the war there, New Earth, right through to the last humans and the Toclophane, and then a look at Gallifrey and the Master. Oh, let's face it, all of them really good masters, really cool. And what happened with the Time War, and then common things that the Doctor has encountered, such as Daleks, Cybermen, Ice Warriors, Jadoon, Silence, Centauran, and on to game mastering. I used to game master, you know, that was a long time ago. I don't think I've run a game for a long time. Don't know if I've still got it in me. I have to give it a go. Anyway, so there's what's a game master, how to do things, concept of the game, running an RPG, creating adventures, how to do a beginning, middle and end, make it feel like an episode rather than, you know, just a continual stream of things happening and encounters. You can make it actually feel more like an episode of the TV series, which is great. So run the rules like the show. Fast and loose. So, and then we've got encounters with and encountering iconic villains and stuff. Was it encounters and iconic villains? Okay, so there's a little bit more about the encounters thing and how to describe damage, especially when you're taking emotional, logical, bludgeoning, shooting, fire damage or something like that. It can be, to make it a bit more exciting than just, you lose some points. And then you have a look at how to calculate encounters. So you work out how many party members there are in the players, and you modify it, and then you can. It means that a group of even like first or third level characters can encounter a group of Daleks, and they're not immediately going to get obliterated. They can have fun and have a chance of doing something useful. So there we go. How to create encounters, typical encounters for the Cybermen, Master, Daleks, and then some iconic villains like standard Dalek, standard Cyberman, the Master, and a Weeping Angel. Oh, and a Reaper. Oh, I forgot about that one. There we go. And I think that's about it for that one. Got an index at the back, couch sheet, and some adverts for the other books, and the OGL. So that tasty little morsel is the player's guide. Look at that lovely spot gloss there that I've ruined by putting my grubby fingers all over. Oh no, I will have to give it a polish later. Okay, so that's one. On to book two. So book two that I showed you before was Keys of Skaro, which, as I mentioned, is a conversion of the Secrets of Skaro, which is a campaign for the normal Doctor Who RPG. So this is very similar. It's laid out a little bit differently because, let's face it, 5e is structured slightly differently when it comes to where things are. But it's the same story, and it will take you from first level through to fifth level, which is a great intro to anybody who wants to start playing Doctors and Daleks. So we have the introduction and some synopses of each of the levels for the GM so that they know what to expect. The first story is Paradise Lost, which, as you can tell, might involve some Silurians. Yes, so it's nice because you land on a planet, you try and work out what's going on. There are some people who look like, sort of fairly early civilization, and what is going on. But I'm not going to tell you because, spoilers. But, oh no, could there possibly be dinosaurs in it? Always a great laugh. And, is that a Merca? Yeah, it was the Merca. Right, and so, stories number 2, Kind of Magic, is great if you really are just used to playing D&D, because there's castles and there's a princess, if I remember rightly, or is a duchess in this one? I can't remember. And there are dragons. Are they dragons though? I think they might not be. That might be a clue there. And there's Zykons in it. And it is duchess, not a princess. And yeah, there's political intrigue and lots of factions trying to outwit each other. It's a classic, that one. The third adventure in there is Westward Bound, which is set on the Oregon Trail. Horse. I must admit, I do like the title of that bit. Once Upon a Time Machine in the West. That's brilliant. Okay, so there's a wagon train. There are a load of people on the wagon train going west. and they may not be human, and there may be people after them. But yeah, that's another corking story, that one. And then finally, there's a really, really bad pun in Westward Bound as well, which I won't spoil for you, but when you see it, it'll make you laugh. It took me a while to spot it, actually. It's one of those things, play on words, and when I spotted it, it was like, oh, I didn't see that before. It's hilarious. Anyway, on to the fourth adventure, which is the climax of the story, which is in present-day London. And there's there's something under the city, and it's all bad, and oh yeah, it's epic and scary, and there's lots of clues and weird things you have to find, and it's great. I really like that one as well. And unlike the Secrets of Skaro version, instead of all the stats being at the end of, or in the right place in the adventure, I know that 5e adventures, usually they put all the stat blocks at the back, so we have done the same. So all the stats for all of the bad guys and the Merker are all in the back. So that's a bit of a change for you. And there we go, index OGL. Lovely, so lovely. So the last one is the Alien Archive, which is the equivalent of like the Monster Manual. Some of it is based upon the All Strange Creatures supplement that was for first edition Doctor Who, but there are some more current additions to it. So let's have a look. And lots of bad guys. So here we go, introduction. Are they actually bad guys? They might not be, you never know. Oh look, it's Alison from Ghosts. And Carvanista, big dog guy, he's great. So a little look at the alien entries, some skills and stuff like that, just in case you need to revision or have it handy, rather than having to look through the player's guide again. And the bulk of it, this book, is chapter 2, which is the Alien Archive, which looks at lots of the aliens that the Doctor has encountered, from the Atraxi, Axos, Golden Form, shiny, and Spaghetti, Boneless, Carrionites, which are a great excuse to use spells from D&D. How cool is that? Trees of Cheam, Clockwork Robots, lots of Clockwork Robots. A big section on Cybermen, because let's face it, there's lots of variants. There's Proto-Cybermen, there's Cyber Leaders, Cyber Soldiers, Cyber Controller, Cybermat, Cybermites, Cyber Drones, Cyber Planner, Cyber Zombie, Superior Cybermen, Cyber Masters, and then there's a similar big section for Daleks, because everybody likes Daleks. Excuse the squeaky fingers, but that just proves how nice and new the book is. So, basic drones, elites, Supreme, Mutant Inside, Dalek Emperor, Davros, Nano Clouds, Dalek Puppets, Dirty Den, Ogrons, Robomen, Draconians. Onto Draconians. This is out of the Dalek section, don't worry. Great intelligence. So that means there's got to be some Yeti. Yeah, here we go. Yeti. They're so cute. Half. Bubble, bubble, bubble. Ice Warriors. Ice Queen. And the mighty Jagrafest of the Holy Hadrajasic Revenfoe. Jadoon. Kablam Man. Krasko. He was not pleasant. Crinoids. And Multiforms. Prison Zero. And Nestine Consciousness. They've got a big old tub of goo. Which has also got sections on Autons. And then you go into the Ood. Who'd have believed that? Ding! Saturninians. Silence. More Silurians. Because you can never have too many Silurians. Come on, let's face it, they're great. Sea Devils. More Centaurans. Stenza. Tim Shaw. Tharals. Thajarians. Toclafane. Some brand new art in this bit, especially for this book, honestly. It's all done by Will Brooks as well. Vashta Narada. I thought they were scary. And Weeping Angels. And you'll notice that each one has like things about their background and motives, what happens when you encounter them, and then using them, and some ideas for some adventures. So plenty to keep you going for ages. And there's the OGL. And that's it. So there you go. Alien Archive. Keys to Skaro. Player's Guide. Big GM screen. All in a big tasty box. Oh, I know it was a bit of a flick through, but then there's a lot to flick through. And this video has gone on far too long already. So hopefully that has given you a bit of an insight as to what's actually inside the box. And no, it's not Pain. Not Pain. That was Dune. That's a whole different thing. Pain's in the box. And it's not Gwyneth Paltrow. Okay. I'm hoping to do some more of these videos because it'll be funny. You know, get to see what's inside these cool games. And hopefully it'll give you an insight as to whether you fancy buying them or not. Until next time, stay multi-classy.